see the map yourself,
Hello folks, this is Sula speaking, and you're watching a commentary video on League of Legends,
which is
this
really
one
hard to
featuring
do
Janna.
sometimes. But
I'm playing here in a pre-made team
I mean, at the
along
same
with
time,
Cole
sometimes I
and
mean, it's
Mookie.
nice to
You can
say
see
like
that I
if
am
you
playing
lose your
Janna.
lane and
This
you
is
know there's
actually
not
my
many
second
guys
game as
and you
Janna.
die,
I'm
like,
playing
oh,
her because she's free this week and I'm trying to learn some different
I'll be right back. I
champions.
have a phone
Thus,
call.
don't expect me to be any kind of an expert here, as I've only have limited experience with this character. But I'm trying to learn as I go along. Mookie has quite a bit of experience at this game. Mookie's been playing much longer than me and is definitely a better player than I am. So Mookie is playing the new champion, the newest one as of the point in time that I recorded this, Misfortune, and Mookie will be taking the center lane for us. Finally, we also have Cole, who is playing as Shen, and Cole is of course a relative newcomer. He's been in a couple of these other videos, but he's been playing and has been getting a little bit better as time goes along. We've also picked up two random characters in matchmaking. We've picked up a Warwick and an Olaf player. Our Warwick, if you look on the summoner icons, has a little hand icon. That means he's taken Smite, which is a summoner ability that allows you to deal damage to minions. So that means he's going to be going jungling. And our Olaf player has a pretty standard setup. You can also see the other team, Nunu, Tryndamere, Karthus, Zillion, and Kassadin. So lots of magic damage. In fact, aside from Tryndamere, this team is pretty much all ability power. So that'll be our cue to try and get some magic resistance as the game goes along. And off we go at the start. Now, Janna can be played a couple of different ways. I've seen people try to play attack damage Janna before. I've seen people try to do tank builds on Janna. I think that the consensus by now is that she is probably best played for ability power overall. That is, trying to focus on her abilities rather than focusing on her attack. So that's the way I'm going to try to build her in this game, which is why I've started with a Doran's Ring. Janna's not a pure mage character by any means. She's a support champion, as I'll be talking about as I go along. But needless to say, attack damage Janna I just don't think is a good idea. Now, we're trying to figure out how to set up. We know that Mookie is going to take the center lane with Misfortune. I initially was going to take the bottom lane with Cole, playing Shen. But the problem was, Warwick wants to go jungling, and so that means someone's going to have to take the solo lane, or the top lane, and play solo up at the top. And out of the champions we have between Shen, Janna, and Olaf, really Janna is the best choice to do that. So that means I'm going to have to go and hold the top lane by myself. And that means that Cole and our Olaf player are going to take the bottom lane. So that's how we're set up. Warwick will be jungling, and then two solo lanes, and then two people in the bottom lane. And here's what we chose to buy at the beginning. You can see Warwick has chosen to buy cloth armor and 3 health potions, and that is a pretty standard setup when going jungling. Well, maybe 5 health potions. It's either 3 or 5. I'm not 100% sure. So Cole asked if he wanted him to take the solo lane. It was a very nice offer, Cole, but Shen is a character that really shouldn't be soloing in any case. So that's the setup we have here. Alright, I'll spend the first part of this video trying to talk about some of Janna's abilities since I haven't covered her in any of my other League of Legends videos so far. Janna's first ability, her Q skill, which is the one I put my first point in, is called Howling Gale. What this skill does, and you can see it there, I've highlighted it, it allows her to summon a tornado that does moderate damage. I wouldn't say it does high damage, but it does decent damage. And it will shoot out a tornado in front of her. See right here, I'm going to start, and the tornado gets summoned, and then off it goes, and does damage, and any enemy that gets hit by it will get tossed up into the air briefly. The enemies actually used to be thrown up in the air longer, but they nerfed Janna a little bit a while back and cut down on the damage she does. There, Tryndamere got a critical hit in on me. He had actually taken he actually bought an item that increased his critical strike percentage. Now, the thing about Howling Gale, the skill that I'm using here, nice try, Tryndamere, but no, you didn't quite get me, is that Janna can either fire it off immediately or she can choose to charge it up. By charging it up, it means that the range increases. It'll go a further distance away, and it'll do more damage. So you can charge it for up to about, I guess, about 4 seconds, I'd say. Not 100% sure on the duration. But Janna can also release it immediately if she wants. So you have some flexibility. Another thing is you can also move while the tornado is being charged, which is something I actually didn't know when I first played this character. See, I'll set the tornado down, and I can still move around, and I can shoot it off whenever I want to. So it adds a lot of flexibility to Janna. Really a great skill. You can use it either to farm minions, so it's good for getting minion kills, although I am doing very poorly here in the early game, in part because I'm not used to playing Janna. Like I said, this is my second game as her, so I wasn't doing a great job here at getting minion kills. But it's useful for farming, it's useful for harassing, because the tornado has great distance, can hit people a long, long way away. And finally, also useful for chasing as well, because it briefly tosses whoever gets hit up in the air, so that can be helpful in pursuing as well. Just a very useful, very helpful skill. Alright, Janna's W skill, Zephyr, is called Zephyr. It's the second one I put a point in. What it does is it has a passive and an active feature. Passively, it increases Janna's movement speed slightly. The more points you put in it, the more it increases her movement speed. This is one reason why Janna is a very fast champion. She's very difficult to catch. Janna's pretty good at getting out of attempted kills by the other team. The active feature of Zephyr is that if you use it on enemies, it will slow them, which is pretty nice. So it's another way to chase down retreating enemies. But as far as the build that I'm going to be using for Janna, it's the skill I'm going to be putting the least points in. I'm going to put 1 point in it early and then come back to it later. So I won't be using it too much, but it is useful. It speeds you up and slows down the enemies, so another useful skill. Janna's third skill, her E skill, is called Eye of the Storm, and it's a shielding skill. Janna puts a shield around either herself or other people on your team, and it will do two things. First of all, it absorbs incoming damage, and it actually can absorb quite a bit of damage. And secondly, it increases the attack damage of whoever she puts the shield on, with a very noticeable effect, and I'll come back to this later. But first, in comes Warwick. He's come out of the jungle, so together we're going to go for Tryndamere. I put my shield on Warwick, which increases his damage. They're going to go into the bushes, but I toss my tornado in there, and we've got Tryndamere trapped, and I slow him, and together with Warwick's attack, we manage to kill him. Warwick has the red lizard buff, so that means that he slows the enemy team. Nunu tries to finish me off because I'm low on life, but of course I put a shield on myself, and that protects me from some of the damage. And then Karthus is going to come in and try to kill me, but my shield blocks part of the damage, and that's not enough to get me. Unfortunately, though, it does kill Cull down in the bottom lane. Yeah, it was kind of interesting having a Karthus on the other team. Karthus is so rarely played in this game. I think this is only about the third time I've ever played against an enemy Karthus, and of course I'm used to playing as Karthus because he's one of my favorite champs. Anyway, we were able to get the kill there, but just to wrap up the discussion of Janna's skills, Eye of the Storm is great. Increases damage on when you use it on your allies, and it also you can either protect yourself from damage or protect your allies, so you can save people. It's great against champs like Karthus. Karthus' ultimate, you can see it coming and shield someone who's about to die. Also great against Zilean. You can just completely eliminate those time bombs that he likes to use, and we actually have both Karthus and Zilean in this game, so lucky me, and I'll get some examples to show that later on. Finally, Janna's last ability, her R ability, is called Monsoon. What it does is, it's a pretty versatile ultimate. She will channel these winds in a circle around her. Any enemy units, champions or minions in the area will get blown backwards away from Janna, so you can use it to reposition enemies. And any allies that stand in the monsoon, stand in the little wind area, will be healed, and in fact healed pretty significantly too if they stand inside for the full duration. So you can use it to reposition enemies, you can use it to heal up your team. Very versatile skill. Now, the combination of all these skills means that Janna is definitely, in my opinion, a support champion. That is, she doesn't do that much damage herself, but she's great at helping other people get kills. You know, so you won't kill people, but you will get lots and lots of assists if you're playing Janna correctly. Some people tried to do games where there were some builds a little while back where people were trying to do excuse me, people trying to do attack damage Janna, that is focusing on Janna shielding herself and just doing lots and lots of damage attacking. But to be perfectly honest, there are just champs that are better at attack damage. I mean, if you're going that route, you know, you want to be playing Ashe or Tristana or, you know, the new Misfortune or some other character. Janna is just never going to get the same amount of damage that some of these other champions do. So really, I think you're much better off playing her support than trying to go the attack damage route. And I think she's built for that, just built for that role much better. Alright, so enough of the skills. I want to talk a little bit about what's going on in this game. As you can see, because we have Warwick jungling, that means that I am holding this lane solo against Tryndamere and Nunu, which is something that Janna can do, but it means I have to play very defensively. I've been by the tower pretty much the entire time. That's limited the number of minion kills I can get because Janna is a pretty fragile champion. She can escape quite well. And see there, you see me shoot the tornado immediately, so I can get 2 minion kills. You don't have to you don't have to wait for it to charge up. So you can see on the creep score, I have 22 creep kills, and that's about equal with Tryndamere and Nunu. So I'm holding par with the other team, but really I just have to defend this lane because if I come out and try to engage them away from the tower, they just have too much damage. I'm going to be killed, so I have to play very defensively. Now that might make you ask, well, why would you want to have someone jungle? You know, what's the purpose of jungling? Why don't you just want 2 people in each lane? Well, the idea there is that if someone jungles correctly, just by fighting the just by getting the Golem buff and the Lizard buff and killing the neutral creeps, you should be able to have a jungler get experience roughly on par with what the rest of the team is doing. Then also, by having a solo lane, you'll have overall higher experience than the other team. For example, you can see I'm consistently a higher level than Tryndamere and Nunu. So you'll get more experience overall for your team that way. And it's also very difficult for the other team to predict what you're doing. Ideally, the jungler will be sort of roaming freely around the map. The other team won't know where they are, won't be able to account for them, so you'll be able to get some easy kills. And in fact, we were able to do that once earlier. You saw that already happen when Warwick came up here and we were able to kill the Tryndamere on the other team. Now, the problem with this game, though, is that Warwick, after getting that initial kill, didn't really do a whole lot. I mean, he should be roaming freely around the map and causing trouble. Instead, he's just kind of down there in the bottom lane. To be honest, we've still only got that 1 kill, so he hasn't done that much. Now Warwick's going to go for the dragon. I'm not sure if he got that or not because I had to pay attention up here. So the game plan idea was sound, but the execution by our team was not that great here. In essence, what that meant was I was left out here alone by myself in the top lane, just having to defend for a very long time. And I mean, Janna can do that okay, but remember, she is a support champ. I mean, we would be better off by having a range damage per second character or having a stronger, mage type champion up here instead of Janna. You can see the other problem is we're doing very poorly on minion kills. That bottom lane is just not going well for us. Cole and our Olaf player are getting virtually no minion kills, which means that they're not getting gold, so they're not getting much gold. They're also being denied a lot of experience. The Zillion and Kassadin players down there are kind of dominating the lane. So Warwick keeps going down there to help out, and I mean, that's good, obviously, that he's helping out, but it means that I'm pretty limited in what I can do on this solo lane. I'm just sort of sitting around here by myself. Another problem, which we weren't aware of at the time, but which we would find out later, is that Mookie, who is playing in the solo lane with Misfortune, actually got a phone call early in this game, so he was trying to play while talking on the phone, which I've tried to do myself once or twice, and it is not an easy situation. So Mookie was able to farm up minions, but he wasn't able to do anything else. He wasn't able to go into any of the other lanes and try to get kills or try to help out. So all that Mookie can do is just farm last hit minions, and that's okay. I mean, it's better than having someone miss, but it's not an ideal situation. And there Karthus gets another kill using his ultimate against our Olaf player. Olaf was free this week, which means that this person playing him probably doesn't have much experience. I head back to buy, and I spend a little bit too much at the buying screen, which means that because I'm gone, they're going to get in a few shots at the tower, unfortunately. So you could see just that little time that I was away meant that they managed to slip in and do, maybe 20% damage to the tower. So not a good result there. Cole unfortunately gets killed once again. So now our bottom lane, both players down there have been killed, which is not good. So our bottom lane is really in trouble. You can see we've already been outkilled 4-1. So we're not doing that great here. I can hold this lane. I can hold the lane, but I can't. I can't put any pressure on the other team. They just have too much damage. All I can really do is defend the tower. Anyway, like I said, this is a bad position for our team. Our bottom lane is not doing well. Our jungler is achieving relatively little, and Mookie hasn't been able to help anyone else in the other lanes. So check back to see what we're going to try next in part 2.